move for that chair.
A lot of breathing. We are live.
That appropriation. We're trying to get the FY27 budgets completed. Our Senate recognition. So I have our trustee joint fiscal staff to help us do that. I asked for a new spreadsheet. Last time we saw the spreadsheet, it had governor's recommended and now House recommend. So I asked for a new version that has all the Senate bills in there and other things. How would you like to talk about that?
Kind of, yeah. I've got a sheet that's got what we tried to summarize was like additional asks that we've heard about, some additional needs, as well as the Senate bills that have passed, and that what you need to decide whether or not you're going to fund. I got some that's my computer. Apologies.
Do you have copies for us?
I do have copies for you.
Okay. You can decide when you want to give it.
When I decide on that. So but a lot of this is happening. Just oh boy. Before we hand this out, so in the universe of we're going to try to finish this up by early next week. It sounds like it's the goal. You've got a lot of decisions to make, priorities to set, etc. Just would be in terms of some context, just a reminder. There's when you get to FY28 and thinking about what to make investments in terms of base versus one-time, ongoing expectations for the future. And FY28, one thing that we do know is changing is we're going to lose the provider tax. The provider tax rate that we're allowed to charge starts to increase.
Can you explain provider tax?
Provider tax. Yes,
The abbreviated.
the abbreviating shooting from the hip version.
For elementary students.
Yeah, so providers pay a tax, healthcare providers pay a tax on services that they provide. That money comes back to the state then puts it in the general fund and basically uses it to match Medicaid, pay Medicaid back to those same providers. So
I've been doing this since 1989.
Yes.
And all states do.
Everybody does it. I'm pretty sure.
Because that's why the Fed said you can't.
The Fed said you can't. They are changing the rate that you can charge. So it's like up to 6%. There's always been sort of a cap of the amount you can charge, but the HR1 OBBA, that bill starts to ratchet back that percentage, sort of 6% to 5.5, and it's up over a couple of years. And it's about $17 million annually, or it will be $17 million next year. It's a little funny because of the federal
17 million less that we can match.
Correct. So there's
come up with 17 million general fund.
70 million general fund, and likely when you start moving into those types of dollar amounts, it's likely that there will be Medicaid impact. So if it's coming out of Medicaid, you lose double that because of the provider tax. We did get it.
Was this in the big beautiful bill?
Yes. Additionally, we got I don't have the numbers in front of me. We got the new FMAT projections. We always in April we get an estimated what the FMAT will be for next fiscal year. It gets updated in October. Sometimes they're always wrong in April, but it's sort of their best guess based on the information they have now. Looks like Vermont's FMAP will be trending downwards, meaning state MAP will have to increase next year. Based on the information we know today, we've moved a lot of money into the education fund. That's one time that won't reoccur. I just wanted to there's a lot of uncertainty going into FY28. There's just some context. Some just to keep in your head.
It's all uncertainty and the negative way.
Unfortunately, I don't know of any pots at the end of a rainbow that refill themselves. At this time, but wanted to just put that out there before we go through this. So we put together a quick spreadsheet. Oh, you sent me the Zoom, right?
Yes.
Did you send me the? Oh, it's in the calendar.
Yeah.
You'd think I'd know how to do this by now.
You know what? Don't have a calendar because we decided this last minute. That's why. Hey, hey.
Cool.
That's you right
You want to send it to me? I'll hand this out right now. So I believe this is posted on the website, but the. One more.
You have one more? No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's take them together.
You can give one to Amy. Uh,
I think that's how that's so easy.
Thank you. So this is, like I said before, just a quick list of both additional asks that we've heard of and the bills that have passed and then what was in the fiscal notes for those bills. I am not an expert on these, but figuring as we can walk through it and if folks around the table and provide some context to the extent you have it, that would be good.
So these are all, so it's not in.
It's not in any particular order.
It's not in together with the governor's recommendation and the House recommendation, but these numbers are just, if we add all these things in. Thinking that the budget coming out of the House was a balanced budget. If we did all those things, then did these things, that's how we get to 35.49 overage. Right?
Correct.
Okay. So we can, like we said, we can crowdsource these and just so people know what we're talking about.
Sure. And I'll take the first two.
Those are good.
Oh, so, and these ones are a little funny because of the signs on them, but in the House budget, there were three additional reversions that they proposed. Two of those reversions, because they're of FY 2026 appropriations, it actually makes sense to amend the 26 appropriations in the C section of the bill rather than do a reversion.
Okay.
They were in the technical letter from finance and management, so we're tweaking those to update the amounts that get reverted. Or updating to the mechanism for how they get reverted and how it flows. This, like when we walk through the bill, you may see it differently, and you'll just have to trust me on these numbers right now. But one of the things is that some of the amounts that the House booked were the incorrect amounts. So we got updated numbers. One of those reversions was, so there was $650,000 from the Department of Corrections for the pretrial program. That's no longer happening. So $650,000 was taken out of DOC, FY 26 base. The Agency of Digital Services was appropriated $100,000 in Act 73 to do technical support for the redistricting commission. They only spent about $30,000 of those funds. The House had reverted about $80,000, but updated estimates from the department, it's actually $70,000. So that's a $10,000 difference of what the House booked to what's available for the Senate to take. And then the third one is the emissions repair program at the Agency of Natural Resources. The House assumed there was $598,000 unspent money. That was the unspent money at the end of FY 2025. The department has continued operating that program because they have an appropriation for it and it's on the books. And they have a couple contracts that are out that obligate some of that money. So in working with the department, there's only about $300,000 that can be scooped from there. So adjusting for the change in the ADS reversion and the emissions repair program change, and this is assuming you want to make those adjustments. It's put you about $310,000 below where the House was in terms of additional resources from those. And that shows up in those two lines, the updated reversions and the updated unallocated balance. That difference is at $310,000. And again, this is like trust Emily mechanics wise, but the Because we're not doing reversions, we're updating the 2026 appropriations. The way that sort of falls through is it's gonna increase the amount of money available at the end of FY 26 to be carried forward into FY 27. So that's where you'll see it. You'll see a change in the reversions, then a change in the $70 million number. And that's those first two lines on this. And that's a very roundabout, complicated conversation for a very technical change, but in the interest of transparency, and I've said it out loud, despite I probably am the only one who understands what I just said.
$320,000 less. than we
Bigger
thought we had.
10, yeah.
310.
It's not good. It's not good, it's free.
Not the best news.
Not the best.
So the next one is something I was proposing. There's an S-276, I think, with the economic development bill in the House. They're working on this rural industrial development program, adding $1 million, but changing the program around to support some communities that have flood and federal impacted properties. The programs, we put 5 million in it a few years ago, still have a couple million, but there's a few projects that we're hoping to do with new rules. So that's $1 million. Since the Senate bill got to the House after the House passed the budget, they didn't get a chance to think about it. I did talk to the House did talk about it, but it's too late in their process. So I'm hoping to be able to do that. In particular, that we could support projects like the federal building here in Montpelier, the post office that got flooded out in the flood and has been sitting vacant, but the federal government is now going to put it up for auction. And this program would help entities to be able to control those buildings so they can have them redeveloped. That's what that is. The dispatch number is not really an appropriation because it's money that's in the public safety communications fund, which our members in appropriations that were on government off a couple of years ago passed the bill that was, I think it was 11 million in public safety communications, and then there was a public communications task force that was formed. Task force issued their report. The report has about like $10 million left. 7 million is appropriated in that H935, which is the public emergency communications bill. But there would be another 2.35 that I thought we could put into the budget for specific regional dispatch projects. So it's money that's already at public safety, so it's not new money. So it actually would add to this.
Yeah, we can.
It would be so they think about it. And GovOps is taking testimony on this, so it's kind of a placeholder to see what GovOps does with that House bill. This next one is related to H740, I think. You want to say anything about that?
Yeah, it's something that considerations in natural resources and create a fuel dealer registry and reporting mechanism, especially as federal data is going away. It's very helpful to have our own reporting mechanism, and could actually be very helpful for municipalities in terms of their planning and also their energy committees, and seeing about discrepancies reaching.
And A&R asked for more money to this, but I think we can hopefully scale back the work that they need to do with the money and do it with a little less. Non-emergency medical transport. This is going to be in the T-bill, right? Shared transportation.
But
I can't remember who was on this dollar amount.
it was 600 last year, and I need to do a little digging, but haven't had time to see if there's any of that money left.
Right.
But they did hire 2 people. They're as we know, they're doing some sort of a consistent effort to, recruit people to do drivers for this. And,
I put up the brochure.
yeah,
Show the community drive. Okay, so I have it in here for 500.
well,
We'll get more information.
we'll get more information. And, we'll, hopefully we can cut some of that back.
Okay. The adult days, do you know, do you want to say anything about that? Just
I
what I know.
have been, in touch with, the lobbyists for the, adult days and, they asked 400. We don't want, I think the hope is that there won't be any. There clearly is an adult day here in Washington County that is on the verge of moving to open within the next year. We had money in a special fund, and that money is gone now. There is also, interest in Rutland and, it's a growing need and,
Would that be through Dale? I don't know.
that's all through Dale. And, we lost 3 adult days during COVID. And, with the demographics of where we are, more and more, 50 and 60-year-olds are, that are working are having to take care of their parents.
Okay. The next one is recovery centers. The House budget did not have any money for the recovery centers. I think last year it was $600,000, $800,000. So this is listed here at, yeah, 800,000. So it should be the same as last year. I don't know if your committee is taking any testimony on this issue, Center Lines.
Regulation for having the centers included.
Okay. I think at one point we thought maybe they would be able to come from the prevention fund, but I heard that they didn't really think of it as prevention, so. Or it would be, so I don't know. So,
We can talk about that more.
right, we'll have more information. The AHEC, the House had 2 different AHEC programs in, so I know people were interested in that. I think the one program that the House did fund,
Education.
it was like, or starting, with high schoolers
Yeah.
or college students.
And they didn't clearly on that.
Yeah.
There were 2 other,
Is that other AHEC one in here, Emily, for like 163,000? Make sure that loan repayment was like the full amount.
No, this is just the delta between what the House,
yeah,
the program the House wanted to fund and the amount they actually funded it for. So this would fully fund the one program, there's one of the programs the House did.
so,
For
this.
60,000.
It would add 60,000 and it could withdraw down, it would bring it like, we get another 160.
So that's fully funds the program, doesn't fund the education. Oh,
Yeah, no, we'll be talking about that again. That's one of the.
yeah, this is fully repayments, loan repayments program. The treasurer, actuary report for group G, this is the group G includes correction officers, groupers, people that can, or positions that can retire early, but they pay more in. So there was a interest in adding, I can't remember which folks to group G. Treasurer said we don't really know what the impact is, but we can do an actual report. Because the employees pay more money into retirement, but they get out earlier, so they're alive longer so they get more benefits. So before the legislature considered that, he said you'd need to spend $50,000. An actuary report, that's what that is. Sheriff's is a question mark because this is for the deputies to get paid more for the judiciary, for transport or judiciary, work for the judiciary. We're trying to get them closer to the $65 that they get for other state contracts. I think it's in a question mark because we didn't know what it what it meant was, but was it their proposal? Do you have something to say on that? That looks like you're raising your hand.
Well, I think we talked about, by we, I mean Emily and I, that I think the house's proposal was like around $1.
$1.
Above, what was in the previous year,
Do
for the sheriffs.
you remember what that dollar is about?
There's 57, wasn't it?
It's like,
57.
mhm.
And I think there's a little bit of an issue where the budget adjustment brought it to 57. I think it was
Okay,
55,
54, then
57.
Yeah.
But then the House budget doesn't get it to 57, it only gets, so they would have to go backward potentially. That's something we can look more into, but also if there's we can maybe work on like how much it is per dollar.
Yeah, that would be good.
A range by $5.
Yeah,
Okay.
tell me how already.
You remember what that kind of dollar amount was? Like if everybody got $5 or more? Like, is that $700,000 or 70?
I would need to look,
Okay,
sorry, yeah.
no, well, we'll get more information. Farm, so Act 181 updates, this updates or this is the outreach?
So the bill was Act 181 updates, but the one,
Oh, that's
was,
325.
yes. But that money, so there were two appropriations in there and looks like it's reflecting one of them, which is okay, like that's fine, just
Right.
for everybody's information that it did include $100,000 for more engagement and outreach to folks about the system. And then there was also another 200,000 that was in there for additional blueprints for the 802 homes program, which seems like it has been very successful, and but they could use more diversity. So that's the whole ask for that was more like 0.3.
And that is down, and if you look down below,
Oh, is it
that's
for the-
325, so you just, basically, if we saved $100,000 as far as the bottom line, because that double counted, that 100,000.
Oh,
Act 181 updates is the same as S 325.
oh, I see.
So down below, it's got both of them, the biology, the
Gotcha.
herb outreach.
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
I do have some information on the sheriff.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Like I was saying, 50, right now there's $5,194 at $57 an hour, would be $5,782,000. Difference in the budget's $588. If you have $60, it's 5.9, difference of 726 and change. 65 is their $5 increments. It's 6.3 million, a difference of almost 3 million. $70 is 0.7, a difference of 1.5, and they requested 75 through judiciary, which is large from 57 to 75. I think that's realistic. That would have been a 7.1.
So to get into
Increase of 1.9 and change. Yes.
so if it was only up to 60, it would be like 700,000. Is that?
$726,401.
Okay.
That's kind of like. It's up lead at that point.
Okay, well, we'll put 726 as that sheriff fund.
The rest of them are quite high. I that.
Yeah.
These are contracted services for courts and so on and so forth.
Right.
Some of them are full-time, some of them are retired, don't need to go to bed, so I don't know. A lot more money than I'm.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
And it's
So
just
it's $50 an hour.
do they get paid the same whether or not they have passenger in the car?
This has nothing to do with state training.
Okay,
This is in the courts. This is
Oh, it's
security
in
of
the
the door,
Or security
understood.
or judiciary.
do the bag checks and stuff like that. So the farm security fund is on here. The range of asks is from $100,000 to $10 million. So you put any number you want in there, changes the fund number. So 60 was not on the bills down below because that's 60 passed last year. We didn't fund the security fund, so the still kind of out there, and the request for getting in some committees added on their requests of appropriations to consider.
Was that originally 15 million they had some?
Yeah, there was a high number to begin with. I think they often, the letter from Ag, I find it, but I think in my communications with them, they're like, any money they can get into the fund to start and get it going is appreciated. But if it's too small an amount and there's a disaster, it doesn't really do them that much good because if there was another big flood or a frost or a drought, usually that's pretty widespread. So there's a lot of farms that need help.
This for the uninsured part.
I don't think so. I think it's for anybody, like if, I would assume you, because some of the testimony that we heard at the public hearing was, even if they had insurance, it wasn't sufficient. Or didn't cover all the types of losses that they had. If I remember correctly, the bill that we passed, Ag could set up a fund, but there wouldn't be any money, which is not too helpful. It would be there, and it would be a vessel ready, waiting for funding.
When we had money.
Yeah. I mean, it's the hard part about it is we have needs that are kind of more immediate for supporting farm in the future. From the next, there's going to be another disaster or something that's going to hurt our farmers. So good to have money. That's going to take away from one of these other projects or one of the house projects. So that's the question.
Was there any money in the governor's budget?
So yeah, it might be helpful if you look, these still have this spreadsheet around, which is the house and the government house. What bases and basin one times, but there is no money in either the governor or the house or the farm security. There's not.
I hate to say it, but in a world that the kind of emergencies we're talking about, it seems like actual emergencies. It's preferable to imagine emergencies. We're still putting money aside for something that might happen in the future. It's great if you're paying all your current things and then you have left out.
Right.
Maybe we could put it on another list of if there's unanticipated revenue or something.
Yeah, that's what I told somebody. It's like we're still dealing with expenses from the last disaster.
Yeah.
It's hard to set aside money for the next one. And Working Lands is a program that run out of the Ag Agency for working land grants. This is, if I remember correctly, $500,000 in addition to their base. They're going to $1 million base. It's something that's, I think, on a future spreadsheet we will see in the notes column. Like you'll hopefully see, so I think it's important to know on anything. I'm not picking on working lands, but you might say like, well, they should get 500. Well, they're getting $1 million. So this is 500 additional.
Yeah, the ag community, though. Working lands is the tested true
Yeah.
place, so, and it's an immediate,
Did they need a 50% bump?
not saying anything about that, but if there was any extra money, I think that's a place that.
The municipal tech assistance. It's something I can't remember if this was asked in the. I can't remember why it's not on the list. If it was a public request or we got it some other way. I know we set this program up after the floods in 23 and 24.
I think that one was on the
I don't have it yet. I just type on the sheet.
Yeah.
I mean, type it on the sheet.
And then, because I think the House has some money in this program. So maybe maybe it was a budget request from an agency that wanted. The program.
I think it might have also been in our letter.
Oh, maybe
but
it's in
I'm
here.
not looking at it right now, so.
Okay. Well, the existing program, that may or may not be out of money, but they didn't have a basic appropriation. It was one time in money.
Yeah, this is the house added $250,000. The ACCD for DCRD, useful technical assistance,
Oh, it's two DCRD, who gets the money?
through ACCD.
Okay. So this, but they added 250,000 to house it.
The house did, yeah.
Maybe we got another request. To increase it to 500.
Need to, that matter, but
Just-
yes.
Yeah.
I have to step out of the room,
Okay.
but the convention center task force per diems,
Yeah,
I think could be eliminated if,
$10,000.
not that it's a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that was the house's, attempt to study doing something like the event that Friday.
Yeah.
Does. Right, so if we're going to do that, then it seems like it was a step. Okay.
We put urban search and rescue in here, well, then our CAFO inspections. This was the ag wanting to, is this the reducing the fees? So no, what's the CAFO? CAFO?
323 is the elimination of fee.
This
This
one.
is for their concentrated,
No, oh.
yes,
Capital
Yes.
Yeah.
so
There
concentrated
was,
feeding operations.
there was a request to do, the third party inspections.
Oh, so this is from AAFM meeting, because on this list, there were some asks we got above the governor, right? But they would have asked for more money than the governor. Right? So who would have?
It was on our list in terms of, yes.
Is it from another bill or from a request we got from?
No, it's a request that we got separate from the bill.
Okay,
From who?
about clean water or about what?
So, right, so as the transition happens, to move CAFO to ANR, there's a request to, have some, review of the inspection process, so. It's just-
So would that be based on, I think, one?
Yeah, I think it should be 1 time.
USAR Urban Search and Rescue is on here, although we did learn that the capital bill has passed by the House and the governor has recommended includes 500,000 for a new building. And there is actually no money that they had in the prior capital bill. I think they're up to 1.3 million or something like that. And they have a base appropriation, so. I think that we put this on here when we weren't sure if they were getting. I think they might be good for now, but. Look into that, yes.
Sorry to go back to the municipal technical assistance piece, that 0.25 is in addition to what the house gave them, which was also 0.25, so it would be 500 total.
Okay.
Um,
And they go say in our,
ACCD is
yeah.
where this is midwest.
And,
so this is both?
We're talking about the.
no, sorry, the municipal.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's, again, it's money that ultimately goes out to towns for support.
But these CRD does this. The BLS legal clinic, I think that was also in a bill. Either, there was I think it was an economic development bill. Unless it's a different BLS legal clinic, so that it's VT Small Business Development Center for 150 down here. Under 327 is the same as the legal clinic. I'm pretty sure. I think we can cut that one out, just down below the bill. In 327, that's 327. So the per diems for the convention center. What did the person say about what?
Take them out.
If we do his construct we proposed, then this is roughly relevant.
Oh, his thing about the,
Like the.
actually is different. this convention center is different than sports. This is a regional convention center that would be built somewhere in Vermont.
Oh.
Assuming it would be in Chittenden County. For me, people have talked about how that would happen. How great it would be. I think so. I think it was in 327 or in one of the economic development bills. Or it could have been a separate bill. It was just these per diems. I think.
Have a lot of media.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's an unlikely source. So there's the Municipal and Resilience Planning Fund. I'm not sure how that is different than tech assistance. You know what that one is? So it's a,
Target.
yeah, I'll have to get some more information on that, but that could have been.
So
Yeah.
how is the technical assistance being used for municipal as compared with the resilience planning?
I'm not sure the Municipal and Resilience Planning Fund, I think also was created in that big GovOps bill, but we never funded. I think you put some contingent money in there at one point. And so it was to help municipalities with resilience planning go forward. That's what this is. The technical assistance was smaller efforts to help towns get like help with writing grants and things like that is what I remember. So we'll when we do that on the list, we'll put it kind of the agency and other information on this if we have it. The VHP down payment assistance program, I'm pretty sure that is in one of the bills as well. That military spending.
If you look at 328, says $250,000 to municipal planning fund for planning grants.
Yeah,
Sounds different from technical assistance.
Yeah, well, that could be the municipal resilience funding, but that could be
so it's duplicated.
Is it too?
that could be 328.
Mhm.
That's a resiliency planning.
It's the same number. And 328 Facebook.
So, yeah, that's the right place. That, but I remember the down payment assistance program wasn't something that economic development census like that. So we can look at 327 and 328 again and see if it's in there. Or I'll look at their letter, so maybe they mentioned it, that's the home buyer payment system program. Data broker bill had this money to study how people could get their. It's kind of like off the do not call this and get their data scrubbed. It was a study part of that bill that we pulled out of H211. So I put this in here. It's something that the governor and the governor's letter to us about the house. The house took $9.55 million from the Technology Modernization Fund, which the House said was interest that fund had earned over the last X years. There is like 11 million in the Tech Mod Fund to help with technology projects. Sound like we heard from the Secretary of State, they want to have money available for these tech projects and overruns and things that these tech projects get filled or new ones. So the governor would like that money back to the tech fund. So if we were to do that, we would come up with 9.5 million.
I think that's where the 2.32 that's saved from our amendment would plug in,
You could plug it in there.
because you wouldn't need the full 9.55. That's where the house got the.
The House got it from this and then also from the decoupling from the federal tax. So that generated 9 million.
So the governor put in how much
For what?
for this?
Nothing. The tech bond fund was just there. They want to keep it there until they need it.
Yeah.
And the House took it.
And the House,
House took 9 million of the 19 million.
of the 19 million, they took 9.
I think there's a significant balance in that fund, the interest. It's unappropriated, unobligated, just sitting there with no plan.
Right.
Is it 9 million for FY 23, 24, 25? It's earning interest in FY 26, but has not been.
But by taking
Touch.
9, they took 9 of the 19.
I thought there was only 11 after they took the, they're saying there's a lot.
Yeah, but it's all been appropriated. So there's money appropriated for the ERP project, there's money appropriated for the UI project, there's money appropriated for something else. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a lot of money in the tech. Most of it is spoken for. The interest is not spoken for yet. The House is saying take the interest, which maybe the interest may be
Maybe
in
interest was
total 11. They're taking 9.
Maybe that makes more sense.
Do we contribute to that fund every year? No.
We put a chunk of money.
There was a bunch of money put in 23.
Yeah.
North of $50 million, I think, when there was a lot of money kicking around and there was opportunity. There was a way to set money aside for some of the major IT projects that need to happen. And I think some folks testified, right, that the intent originally was that we put a big chunk of money in it, it would earn interest, that interest would be available for sort of future tech needs. So that's the only sort of self-funding mechanism for those projects. Other than the General Assembly transferring additional money into that fund.
But the interest is being taken, so. What's the benefit of having?
Right, we know that at some point, we'll have something happen and we need these systems.
That's the good version.
Some balance here is,
That's Senator.
That's exactly what I was. Splitting the difference and
Yep.
saying we're not gonna go back to 0. Not gonna let the House take the whole 9 million, but it's 4.5. Seems like a good bargaining position.
I just would say if we're going this deep when we're not in a recession, it seems kind of hard to rate every pot down to anything right now.
Literally. More than
I'm not afraid to touch, but yes.
So.
Sorry, just, are we saying there's only the 11 million we were talking about? Was all there was, we took 9 and left 2?
I think that makes more sense than there. That's the
Of
11.
interest, yeah.
Of interest.
so if we cut the 9 in half, it'd be 6.5.
Yeah.
And it would continue, I don't know the cash flow projection of this. It's not really principal because it's getting spent, but the money that was appropriated originally to earn interest, I don't know what the cash flow is on that, but it would continue. So.
Oh, Smith. Okay, so that's some of the one-time things we had on the list. Probably not all of them. There's other asks out there. There's the benefit navigators, trying to get more information about. There's several other things that go through the committee letters. A lot of the committee letters reference bills that they had passed, but there might be, this isn't an exhaustive list. This is give you an idea. But even if we were to lower the 9.5 in half, and then we found little savings with some duplicates, yeah, we're still at
I tried to keep up,
12 million.
you're about 10.
Okay.
I did the duplicates right.
Okay.
I put in the 700,000 for the sharing.
Right.
Got this in that.
Okay.
10.
And then if we look at all the bills, that's 18 million.
Yeah.
Works from 35 to 28 million. I don't think we need to go through the bills. If anybody wants to, we can, or if there's any questions about the said bills. Yes. No, but we'd have to make decisions on these bills, and then, of course, there's the House appropriations. So it'd be interesting if any committee member, any opinions on going through the House one times in the House base appropriations, if anybody on the committee has any comments, information. We also had asked folks to go do a little more work on some things. I don't have all those off the top of my head, but some people have lists. So we'll ask you or something.
I'll just repeat something I said in committee, which is 323. Eliminating fees at this point, just on the general logic that farmers are good and we should reward them for the farmers. I mean, in a year where you have lots of money, that might make sense, but reversing fees in a time when you're in a tight budget year, it just seems like, not the way to go. So I would be for eliminating.
And Emily, you have this as a negative number on your chart, but it really should be positive, right?
Well, it's,
But to come out, we have to replace replace the fees to zero. We're replacing that.
then you don't write the governor's budget, put general fund back into the Agency of Agriculture to eliminate the fees. So if the fees don't get eliminated, then you don't have to spend the general fund.
Right, so the way this is written is kind of following what Senator Bruce just said, that we keep the fees.
Right, and then you can use that you can take the general fund out of ag and put it up.
So the number at the bottom includes taking the fees, keeping the fees.
Keeping the fees, yes.
If we reduce the fees, we have to increase the bottom number by that 230.
Yes.
And I must jump in on this.
Yeah.
Say I'd vehemently oppose that. This is a milk tax. We don't like it. It does nothing. It's with the money that we appropriate spent for $231,500. This means a lot to the people in Franklin County, dairy farming in Franklin County. It's throughout the state, I might add.
And did we hear that other farms do pay this fee? They don't pay this fee.
And that goes,
The big farms pay the $2,500, the medium farm pays $1,500. And you're already hitting capo farms for more inspections, that's the.
Right. They folks find a fee on top of this.
That's if they are CAFOs, there's not many CAFOs.
Another fee.
That's,
so the money goes for water quality.
No, that's not. Money for this 231.5 goes to maintain two positions in the ag.
which is now,
Two,
To do what?
clean water. To
Exactly. Inspection.
I know what it's about, and I was critical of many things that are critical in Senator Elijah. This is one is critical to you.
Understood.
It's $231,000. Let me ask a question, Emily, as far as Vermont Emergency Management. Did they get money? Was that a one-time appropriation? Was that in the base at $500,000?
For the food,
Yeah, it's
yeah, it
Or-
was one time.
one time.
It was in H935, the Ready Response Grant Program. Yep, it's on the one-time sheet, line 57.
Ready response grant program for the food bank. Yeah.
And to be clear, Mr. Chair, if this was an attempt to add fees, I would oppose it. For the reasons that Senator Norris is saying. But this is a proposal to eliminate fees that are currently being paid or the current cost of doing business. That's a form of generosity, which in a more flush year, we might be able to do. So didn't want it to seem anti-farmer to maintain the status quo. This is not an addition fee, it's just not not giving relief from this in your work item.
Then you'll be another,
Love you fun.
appreciate it.
I'll make sure.
My favorite farm is in Franklin County.
With that,
I said my favorite farm is in Franklin County.
Is it worth $230,000?
Is it?
And we do have other bills that will be coming to us that are. We had a list of house bills, right? We got that out the other day. Looks like this.
It's that.
So like the treasurer had some, and the treasurer's bill, and there's still other asks out there. So just to reiterate, this is not an extensive list of our considerations, but I wanted to go through some of these.
Right,
Yes,
just ask, in S, 328 in the housing,
yeah,
you've got 500 in for, the, Vermont, rental housing improvement program. The governor, did the governor move 4 million into base from one time?
Yeah.
And this is our, Commerce Committee asking for another million on top of that 4 million that the governor just moved in base from one time. For 5 million.
yes.
I think it's a big move when you move $4 million from one time into base as a continuing expense. That's a huge sea change. And to add another million on top of that seems like, and it's a great program, and I think the administration recommended it was a great program, but to go to 5 million when you move from, that much into, seems like a lot.
And so this would lower our total because 4 million is in the house version. So really, this should just be one. So that's
Yeah, right.
1.25 would be the delta.
So that would lower our number at the bottom.
By $4 million, yeah. So,
And are you saying that you should put the 1 million, because it's 5 million each?
And because this is all relative to the house.
this is what,
This is all relative to the house.
yeah, these are supposed to be additional to the housing government. So if there might be some other ones in 328 or 327 that are like that. 326. 327.
I would just say, I think from our economic development committee's position, that even the 1 million on top is a lot.
Okay, that's helpful. I will work with JFO on cleaning these numbers up a little more,
Is there anything else
providing anyone
to add? Sorry.
probably will be, I don't know if anybody has anything right now. But we know there's other bills with appropriation, House bills with appropriations that didn't get into the House budget. And set them out without the appropriations, or they're passing after the House budget. Or committees and Senate are adding money. We have the work that Health and Welfare is doing a lot of stuff in their jurisdiction, so but I'll kind of say. Unless there's any other questions, we will kind of do this exercise with a new sheet in mind, try to get closer.
Already.
I might go back to looking at it this sheet. We'll switch from profile of landscape everything else.
I tried to do a landscape, but it was, couldn't fix it that.
So we'll do small.
I walked around the office, it's too small and.
And I know, okay, so we